I sat up for a long time that night, in the foreboding eve of battle mood of which all soldiers at all times have left report. I had tangled dreams in which a principal role was played by a skull. In the morning, in a long line, we moved forward toward the pattering of heavy rifle fire. We entered the battle-trampled realm of the infantrymen. The area around the jumping-off position had been deforested by the shells. In the ripped-up no-man's land lay the victims of the attack, still facing the enemy. Their gray tunics barely stood out from the ground. A giant form with red, blood-spattered beard stared fixedly at the sky, his fingers clutching the spongy ground. A young man tossed in a shell crater, his features already yellow with impending death. He seemed not to want to be looked at. He gave us a cross shrug and pulled his coat over his head and lay still. Two men who had just ahead of us tried to make it back over the top. One toppled back into the trench with a shot in the head. The other, shot in the belly, could only crawl into it. The man with the wound in the belly, a very young lad, lay in amongst us, stretched out like a cat in the warm rays of the setting sun. He slipped into death with an almost childlike smile on his face. It was a sight that didn't impress me, but left me with a fraternal feeling for the dying man. Even the groaning of his comrade gradually fell silent. He died in our midst, shuddering. That line there really caught me. Of he died in our midst, shuddering. I think what catches you about it's because it's contrasted with the other one who died with an almost childlike smile on his face. And you know, as I was thinking, when you see this much death, it's like, you know, when they say the Eskimos have 1,000 words for snow because they're so familiar with snow. And these men were faced with so much death that they saw the varied faces of death.